Hi class. In this video lecture, we will discuss data visualization. In other words, we'll look at some quick actionable tips that you can use to develop and incorporate effective charts, graphs, and tables into your written documents. So let's start with our first tip. You want to introduce your graphics with text summaries in the body of your document. In other words, you don't just want to plop your chart or graph or table into the middle of your text. Instead, you want to include a text summary that provides key takeaways, that tells your audience what they should learn and infer from your data visualization. And ideally, you should include some sort of reference or tag that explicitly directs your audience's attention to your data visualization. So let's take a look at this tip in practice. In this sample message, you'll notice that we have a text summary of the table below at the top of the page. It identifies the key takeaways from this table. It includes that reference, the see table 1 below parenthetical phrase, and then we get the table itself. That's exactly the way that you should be using text summaries to integrate and introduce your data visualizations in your text. Next, you want to choose the appropriate graphic by matching your graphic type to your purpose. And to understand how to do this, let's consider the purposes that different kinds of data visualizations can serve. So you can use tables to show exact figures. You should use bar charts to compare quantities. You should use line graphs to illustrate change over time. You should use pie charts to show how parts of a whole are distributed. And you can use flow charts to illustrate a process or a procedure. So let's take a look at how we can use this tip to enhance our sample message. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you might have noticed that table, it illustrates change over time. In this case, it illustrates the change in various budget lines for the marketing department over a 4-year span. And so to illustrate this more effectively, we want to convert this table into a line chart, a line graph. Line graphs are ideal for illustrating change over time. Next tip, supply your graphics with titles and label all of their elements. As you probably noticed in at least that initial version of our line graph, we don't have a lot of labels. And so we want to add all of those labels to our data visualization. We want to add a concrete descriptive title like Figure 1, Changes in Marketing Department Budget Items 2020 through 2023. We want to add those axis labels, percentage change and year. We also want to add the axis data units, either the percentage change or the year itself. And we want to include the data labels for design, print run, social media, and radio/TV. Including those elements will help our audience quickly and easily understand the purpose of all of the elements of our data visualization, as well as the data visualization as a whole. Next tip, use the color wheel to enhance the contrast of your graphics. Now, if some of you haven't thought about the color wheel since elementary school art class, let me provide you with a quick refresher. The way you use the color wheel is as follows. You want to use colors that are across from each other to not only find complementary colors, right? Colors that are across from each other tend to be complementary, but also colors with strong contrast. So green and red are complementary and have strong contrast. Yellow and purple are complementary and have strong contrast. And of course, blue and orange are complementary, go UF, and also have strong contrast. So let's apply this principle to our sample and add some color into our line graph. So now all of our data lines, we've not only added color to make them more vivid and more visually appealing, but also to help our audience easily distinguish one data line from another. And we've done so by using those contrasting colors from the color wheel. In this case, blue and orange, green and yellow. Next tip, make sure the formatting of your graphics are consistent with the formatting of your document as a whole. So to go back to our example, previously the text on this message, we were using Calibri, whereas the text of the document as a whole was Century Gothic. We were also using gray formatting for all of those visual elements, whereas the text and all the other visual elements for the larger document is navy blue. So we want to bring the visual elements of our line graph into alignment with the color scheme and the formatting features, the font choice of the document as a whole. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of this video lecture. Hopefully you now have some quick actionable tips at your disposal for creating effective, memorable data visualizations that you can incorporate into your well-designed, visually appealing documents. Thanks for watching, everybody.